Welcome all to Boomzies.
How's it going, everybody?
I'm Brian.
And I'm Landon.
And tonight's episode, we're going to be starting things off by talking about the 3DS's possible new $50 price point on all new 3DS titles. And then after that, what's the main topic of discussion, sir?
Operation Rainfall, big Nintendo issue, people up in arms. So we're going to go into detail about that and kind of get to the bottom of it. Hopefully, maybe.
Will we get to the bottom of it?
I think so.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's a rainfall, so I don't know.
Can you get to the bottom of a rainfall?
We're going to find out.
Can you get to the bottom of rainbow?
What about Tootsie Pops? Is that the commercial?
Yeah.
Tootsie Pops?
Tootsie Rolls.
No,
it's Tootsie Pops.
Yeah, okay.
The Tootsie Rolls and the Tootsie Pops.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Boomzies!
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what Boomzies is, we are, very easily said, mass geek debate. We talk about video games, comic books, movies, music, everything's in the wild blue yonder, and of course, all while you wonderful, beautiful people live here on Justin.tv debate and chat with us here in the chat room and via via Skype and phone as well. We have the entire gambit. Just give us a call. So, by the way, we're starting a new feature this week, which is our featured music. Every week we're going to be featuring new music from video games, video game artists. This week is, well, I'm not friends with them, I'd hope to be, but my soon-to-be good friends, George and Jonathan. We're playing both music from their album, The Best Music and Beautiful Lifestyle. By the way, I did it before, but I must once more pimp out my good friend Cole Guy for suggesting these fine, fine gentlemen to me, and I've been jamming out to this album like nuts.
They've got some pretty wicked colors to their...
They do. They do. Yes, they
wild.
do. But definitely great. So you're going to be hearing that music all throughout this wonderful issue. So
it's true.
And we are at numero 20.
Number 20, yeah.
That's pretty good. That's
pretty cool.
20 weeks.
Yeah.
26 weeks, and it'll be half a year.
It's true.
6 months. It's been a long time, old pal.
I know.
We've been doing this forever, man.
And I guess thanks to everybody else for sticking with us, and for newcomers to hopefully stick with us.
Clan of the Grey Wolves here. Interesting music shows. I meant to thank you, Clan of the Grey Wolf, for being here. We are honored. For those of you who don't know, this is Clan of the Grey Wolf, the great, the wonderful people behind 16-Bit Gems, many other shows. This is, I imagine, Rue, but thank you for joining us. Man, I feel so... Zip up the zipper a little bit more. Pop the collar a little more.
Yeah. You know, we also have Delta ZX.
Really? Delta ZX?
Yeah.
That's how I've always pronounced his name.
It's always not Deltaz. Who's Deltaz?
What kind of twat pronounces it like that? Loser. Thanks for 20 internet shows, yes. Well, you guys, thank you for being here for 20 shows.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our first topic.
Yeah, so what have you been up to this week?
This week, what we've been up to, yeah. Well, I've had a couple things I've been up to. First and foremost, been playing a little Otomedius Excellent.
What is this?
Excellent. This is a shmup, as they like to call it, the hip folks, or a shoot 'em up by Konami. Here's the box here with a scantily clad woman on here.
Get that closer.
Ooh, hello. I am scantily clad. Ooh. Yes, it is a shoot 'em up inspired, as the cover says, inspired by the legendary Gradius series. There's actually more than the Gradius series in here, but you control these ships with these female avatars that are inside of the ships. I don't understand how that works. But you play as
like Japanese.
Lord British and Vic Viper and all these different Konami shmup vehicles. It definitely makes you feel dirty playing it.
I was going to ask you, did you feel awkward both playing it and purchasing it?
Yes, Chatia. Thank you, Chatia, for joining us. I do love my animation. You do feel... I mean, when you buy this game at GameStop, and when you put that on the shelf, you really can't help but being like, I'm normal. Please don't think I'm weird. Yeah. I'm just purchasing this because I really do like Gradius. There's nothing about
there's no eye contact.
Yeah, it's just like...
Yep, you know what this is.
Just you sleep it and you go... Just tap it and you just leave it there. Leave it there and they'll get it. Here's what I'll say about this. It is certainly fan service for Gradius with boobs. Yeah, it's fan service for those who enjoy Gradius Konami shmups. Gameplay-wise, it's, a 3D Konami shmup. It's fun from what I played, but I really like shmups.
Yeah.
It's a little slower. You're not... I wouldn't say, if you're not into shmups, this is not the game to get for you.
Now, how much was it?
This was $50.
$50.
And this is the special edition, which, for what you get, it's pretty cool. You get the... of course, the game comes in this box. You get the art book, soundtrack with like 35 tracks on it, which is really great stuff. And then a pillowcase. Like, the part that makes you feel dirty, it's the pillowcase.
Well, it's not worse than the boob mouse pad.
Yeah, boob mouse pad, yeah.
That was the worst. Yeah. So, I mean, is there, if that's the $50 for the limited edition, is there a $40 standard
no, this
edition?
is the edition. This is it that comes. When you want to buy this game, this is the edition you're going to get. Online is probably your only way you're going to get it. But, and like I said, I enjoyed it. There are some parts where, like, loading screens and your character select screens, you just feel dirty. You're, like, looking around, hoping no one's watching you, because there's these...
You have to explain it to your wife before you
like, honey, don't mind, there's just going to be boobs on the screen, and it's not because I'm weird, but I really want to play this. So.
Oh, she knows you're weird. I think that's...
Yeah, she does.
I think that's kind of came with the marriage.
It kind of does, like, will you marry this man who loves games with anime and boobs in them? Yes.
Yeah.
I will. But the other thing, past this, even bigger, the game I've been excited about, been wanting, have been loving and drooling over, is Metal Gear Solid HD Collection.
Pretty big. Look at that.
Yes, it's a big. This is the limited edition, the sexy limited edition with the comes in. Open it up here. Comes with the standard game, of course, which is we talked about with Batman.
Yeah. Comes with the actual fucking case.
Game, so you don't have to be like, how do I put this up here?
Yeah.
It's an art book. So yeah, it doesn't come in this.
Yeah.
It comes in here.
Yeah.
Which is great.
You should all do.
You should all do. So, hey, Diva, thanks for joining. But this art book here is great. A lot of artwork by Yoji Shinkawa, who I heart.
Right.
And, what can I say? It's Metal Gear and it's an art book.
Yeah.
But past this, going on to the game itself, I'm telling you, this is the definitive version of Metal Gear to get. Of course, it's got Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, 3 Snake Eater, Peace Walker, and then it also has Metal Gear 1 and 2 on the MSX.
And these are the special, the Substance and Subsistence
this is Substance
versions.
and Subsistence that are on both of these discs. Or, sorry, the Xbox 360 is on 2 discs.
Right.
PlayStation 3 comes on 1 disc. Which is better. But Metal Gear Solid 3 runs at 60 frames a second, widescreen, HD, with the DualShock. And you can really tell they upped the texture, like the resolution's up. You can tell it looks a whole lot better.
Is that the biggest jump between all of them? Is that the one that
it is.
shines
That's the one.
most?
You'll in Metal Gear Solid 2, you'll notice like, oh, it's HD. It looks nice, But 3 is really where the jump comes in.
If you want one to shine, that's the one.
That's the one you want to shine. Well, the other one that does shine is Peace Walker, because this is a PSP game.
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm laughing because I know where you're going with this.
You do?
Yeah, it's good because it's playable.
It's actually playable.
I didn't want to take away your line.
They not only ported this over, but now they implemented the second analog stick so you can play the game. It's widescreen. It's in HD. It's at 60 frames a second. You can transfer by this stupid phrase they have. You can transfarring from your PS. Transfar. I don't know who came up with that. Yeah. You can transfer from Metal Gear on the PSP onto the PS3,
which is really far distance.
I see what you did there with the far. That's good. That's good. So, so Peace Walker's on it, but you can also play Peace Walker online on the PSN Network with your buds. And Eric and I have been playing the crap out of this online with each other, gathering our army. Anyway, I could gush on more about this, but you must get this, whether it's in the limited or the normal version. The limited is well worth it. At the $80, and then of course the normal $50, well worth it as well. But there was a conversation that came up
There's
from
some controversy with this thing between me and
yes. Wanted to bring up real quick. So I bought just the normal edition.
And you you didn't pre-order.
Well, I pre-ordered it on Amazon. Let me go back. I pre-ordered the limited edition on Amazon. And I won't go into the whole story, but there were some delays. I wasn't going to get it on time. So I originally was going to just buy the normal edition. And, or try to find a special edition in town. Well, they ended up shipping it to me, and I found a special edition here in town. So I had a special limited edition.
And you were excited.
I was excited, and I had one coming in.
Ah.
I had the special edition and one coming in.
All right.
And one coming in. Okay? So I had 2 of the limited editions. So then, talked to Eric. Hey, Brian, what's going on? I talked to Eric, and of course, I looked online, and the PS3 version of the limited edition HD collection is going for bonkos. Bonkos bucks. Buku bonkos bucks.
Yeah.
Word of the day, bonko.
Yeah.
It's going for insane price. It's like $250 for the thing. So, it was only available if you pre-order it, and I said, why not? I'll go check to see if they've got any. So, I checked, and of course, on Tuesday when it came out, everybody who pre-ordered it, they had their copies. And if it said they had it in, they could give it to me. It's pre-ordered. So Friday, as a adventurous and how should I say more good things about entrepreneurial person I am.
I don't know why I'm helping.
I went and looked at the GameStops on Friday. I made the calls, I did the footwork, and I asked if they had any of the limited editions in. Because I thought if I can get an extra one, throw it up on eBay as an unemployed father of 2.
Don't you fucking do that.
With a wife.
Don't you do that.
And a mortgage.
I'm
and a family to support.
Right.
I thought maybe we could eat more than ramen noodles. Maybe we could eat meat this week.
Where'd you... whatever. Bullshit.
So I bought 2 copies here in town. I didn't buy all of them. I bought 2 copies here in town so that I could sell on eBay. And
okay,
now you go into your little tirade.
Now here's what happened. I call him. I talked to him last night on the phone, and he sells this to me in a different manner than he sells it right now.
You heard it differently.
Yeah, he did. He makes it out like I called up all the GameStops. I bought out all the GameStops in town. He doesn't tell me there's just 2. He sells it like he bought out all of them. It doesn't matter whether or not you buy 2 or 1. You are essentially scalping video games. You've made it now to where you had that experience where you walked into that store and you didn't have your limited edition. You wanted that limited edition. You got excited. You found your copy. Like, hell yes. You've taken that away from Wichita GameStop customers. Potentially everywhere else because, Best Buy might not have them. It's like now that option is taken out of this town, and now people that want to buy it won't be able to buy it at the $80. Now they have to buy it at $200 because of people like you. I'm not saying that is illegal. I'm not saying that, that you should be, in trouble for this. I'm saying that it's a bit of a douchebag move.
Really?
In my
I have
opinion.
a question, Landon. Have you ever, and I wanted you to tell me the truth, have you ever purchased anything in your life
Solely to resell?
for the sole purpose of reselling it?
I have not. I don't personally
Never.
resell stuff.
Never have you bought anything anywhere at any time in your entire life at any store for the express purposes of putting it on eBay and getting money out of it.
The only thing I've ever sold on eBay, which I could probably potentially get in trouble for making a statement. I attempted to sell strategy guides that pennied out, and then GameStop employees get to take them. And I tried tossing them up on eBay. That's the only time I've ever sold anything on eBay. I've never really sold anything
So
on
you
Craigslist.
took away somebody's ability to get those guides for a penny.
No, I've given away tons of free guides.
But
at
you
GameStop.
took those people's
Look,
ability to get it
here's
for
the
a penny.
thing. Here's the thing. Look,
How, see, this is what I don't get. Like, I took it away from him. Here's my point. You had to pre-order this game. If you
look,
didn't,
I'm getting some.
If
whatever.
you didn't pre-order the game, one, you didn't get it. And guess what?
And now they're
and
fucked
guess
over
what?
that to spend
And guess what?
$200
No.
on
Here's
it.
the thing. I didn't pre-order it here in town. I pre-ordered it on Amazon. So I did the footwork. I spent the gas. I made the call, and I went to the stores and got it. I didn't take it from somebody. I didn't punch somebody in the nuts and
I'm
get
not
it from
saying
them.
that. It's just
I
like-
didn't destroy someone's family. I myself did the work and got it. So whatever it's a
It's just-
game or if it's a Black
scalping.
Friday
It's
deal.
scalping.
What
That's
if I
all
got
it
a
is.
laptop on Black Friday for a good deal and I went on eBay and then sold it?
You're just scalping, man. That's all that is. It's
I'm not
scalping.
forcing anybody to pay money.
You're
I
not-
put it
know,
on
that's-
eBay.
Scalping
I put it
isn't
on,
forcing people to pay.
No,
money.
I put it. That's not
what scalping
scalping.
is. That
It's-
is 100%
it's fair
scalping. You're
market.
buying
It's the fair
something at a
market.
cheaper price and then selling it for more than two times
I'm
the
not
amount.
selling it. I'm buying it at retail price and selling
No,
it
at
for
a cheaper price
whatever.
of what you're selling.
I'm selling it for whatever somebody will pay for it.
Okay.
An item is only worth as much as someone will pay. So I see. That's why I don't see anything wrong with it. And then here's the thing: if you didn't pre-order it, but here's the thing: those people who pre-ordered it and got it in, they didn't pick it up. I didn't stop them from getting it.
I want to bring this out. What is it? Caught GW. What if there was somebody outside of the Wichita market who didn't have a chance to get it, to get the game, now has a chance, that now has a chance. Yeah, that person that now has a chance has to pay $200 for that.
They don't have to pay $200.
You're selling it for that high price.
I'm putting it on eBay. All my auctions on eBay, I start at a penny. I started at a penny and put no reserve. That is every single one of my auctions. So whatever they go for, hey, if someone wants to bid on it and it only goes 80,
okay.
then that's fair.
Yeah, okay. Well, basically, at the end of the day, I completely disagree. I find it a douchebag
Brian
move.
the homewrecker. Hey, Eddie, thank you.
I find it a bit of a douchebag move.
Hey, JK, good point. Don't stores do that to make a profit? They buy it at a lower price from the store, from the publishers. They buy it at a lower price and sell it at a higher price. That's a middleman. That's a middleman.
I think we're moving on from this because we've devoted a little too much time to it. Like I said, I disagree.
Right, and,
you find
and,
it okay.
and I agree with you, Root. They'll pay what the market will bear. And like I said, I'm throwing it up in eBay, and whatever it goes for, it goes for. So, and I didn't buy every one of them. There were 360 versions that I did not buy. I didn't touch. I kept those there. I didn't buy everything I could. I only bought what I felt was fair.
Okay. I still disagree, but cool.
And I want you to let them know what I'm doing for you.
No, I'm buying his version for. He's got one extra one. I'm gonna buy it for the $80.
So the one of them that I was gonna sell on eBay is going to Landon for retail price.
No, that's fine. If you were selling,
isn't that nice? Isn't that nice of me?
Yeah.
I'm a nice guy.
Look,
I think I'm a nice guy.
No, here's the thing. Like, okay, whatever. We're like I said,
Hyperbit.
You're
What's
solely
up,
making
man?
a profit off of it. Whatever.
Thanks for joining us, Hyperbit. Appreciate that. Well then, then let's go on to what you've been doing this week, sir. What have you been doing this week,
All right.
sir?
The first thing, they both tie in hand in hand.
Skyrim.
Skyrim. Overall, Skyrim. Fantastic. The first thing I want to talk about is the strategy guide. I got the collector's edition strategy guide. Here this mammoth of a thing is. It's well over 600 pages.
That could kill someone.
Of amazingness.
That's a criminal beater. It's like if someone comes to your house to rob you, you just thwack them over the head with that.
Yeah. It is unbelievably detailed. Like, there's more information than you
Putting
ever...
Delta knows about this too.
Yeah, the baskets. I was trying to tell him about that.
People's head.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Your baskets on the head.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it.
Something goofy that you can have it. But, the nice thing, like, this thing is extremely detailed. It's hardbound. It's got the little bookmark thing built into it. The pages, they're like a matte finish. They're uncoated.
Yeah, it's like a very thick newspaper stock.
Yeah, it's got a nice feel to it. The whole thing just doesn't feel cheap. It feels nice. There's so much good content in it. This is how strategy guides should be. I mean, it should... If you're going to do a collector's edition guide, do something fancy and just really detailed, really nice like this. Plus, also with this, you get access to, if you go onto their website, you get a highly, highly detailed 3D map that you can go into and really get into the bare bones of the map of that world and really just get to explore it and kind of help you out a little bit more. So, and that's cool. That's free with this. You just key in a little code.
Nice.
So, super cool.
Bonus.
Obviously, the other thing that I've been doing, which obviously ties in with this, is playing actual Skyrim on the PS3.
Chichi's like, I'm back. I want to be a virgin. Well, we're not going to spoil anything. No spoilers here.
What's that?
She says, I got to be back. I'm trying to stay a Skyrim virgin.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to spoil anything here for you, Chichi.
Yeah, there's no
Don't
spoilers.
you worry.
Yeah. So,
don't you worry.
Let me just say, like, this first thing that you notice when you boot this thing up is how minimalistic the design to this is.
Simple and clean.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. It's everything that Oblivion wasn't is what this is. Oblivion, all the menu systems were very convoluted, just fucking obnoxious, really. That's, like, for me, I loved Morrowind. Oblivion was okay, and I think the reason why I didn't care for Oblivion as much was a big portion of it was the menu system. I just hated using the menu system. And in this one, it's so bare bones, it's so simple, it's so easy to use, and it's just gorgeous. Like when you're running around in the game, that your HUD, your heads-up display for the thing, it's just 3 simple, thin bars that only pop up during battle, which is your magic, your health, and your stamina. And if you don't have magic out, obviously the magic bar isn't out there, so you've just got 2 down there. And then you've got kind of your north, south, east, west up there at the top. So it really just showcases how actually gorgeous this game is and how, it really showcases the game itself.
So I don't have Skyrim. I've been playing Metal Gear, and to be honest, I have no interest in Skyrim. I'm trying to understand, like, and I say this not I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm just being serious. I'm trying to understand the appeal of Skyrim, because like I was watching some people play it, and you're doing a lot of walking around, a lot of talking, and a lot of walking, and then there's like a battle, a lot of walking, talking, and it was just kind of I'll use the word boring.
Can I say something that you told me last night about this? This is the statement that kind of threw me off. He was like, "This looks like it should be a $5 or $10 game." And I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
It just
how can the biggest
for me it's like talk, walk. I'm more of an action guy. I like my games I like my love.
Action
I like some
though.
action.
There's good
But
action in
the
this
gameplay
thing.
looked a little. The fighting system, I didn't really find it enthralling.
Well, in this one, they brought in some cool things that.
Now I just saw the beginning of the game, so I mean it might advance, and I know you have magic and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure I'm not super far into it, but I mean there's some really cool things in. Yeah, I was gonna say it just sounds like Randall from Clerks 2, what you're describing.
Moves like a random Clerks story. Yeah.
Yeah. But what was I trying to say here?
Oh, you're talking about the fighting battle system.
Oh yeah,
magic.
fighting. Yeah, they took some stuff that you can clearly tell came out of like the Fallout
Demon
series.
Slayer. Unfollow right now. I don't like your cast. We're sorry. He likes Skyrim. I just don't care for it. Anyway, magic.
Yeah. Anyways, so they took some stuff from the Fallout, like the death blows essentially. If you get your crit hit, it'll do a cool finishing animation.
Yeah, I saw like Fallout.
And
Yeah.
There's some nice variety to how you actually swing your weapon, and the nice combinations of your magic in one. You can do magic in one hand, single-handed weapon in the other. You can still do the shield and the weapon. You can dual wield magic, and if you've got both like fireball here and fireball here, you can combine those to make a more.
Okay. I might need to actually play the game. I mean, I've never played it, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm merely talking about what I've seen, so I'm not judging or reviewing the game here, folks. Don't hear what I'm not saying.
And I'm not far enough to give a full review of this thing, but I can certainly tell you that this is definitely going to be a good runner for Game of the Year.
Okay.
100%.
Well, I'll have to try it out. I think because what we talked about, I'm more of an action gamer. That's my. I'm all about the action of the gameplay and stuff, and this more focuses on like exploration and the story and the dialogue and stuff like that. So, but
this certainly has a ton
to check it out.
For me, the appeal of this is it's just kind of walking around the world. And it's like you can do your main quest, which I like to do the main quest, obviously. Right. But as you're going through, you're like, ooh, a dungeon, and you're like, I'm gonna go in this dungeon. I don't know what's inside this. It might be a big boss, there might be some crazy shit. There might be not anything. It could just be some loot. I'm just gonna go in there. I don't know what's around the corner, so I'm going through. I play as a thief, so I do a lot of stealth. So I'm always crouching and moving around slow, and that's part of the reason why he wasn't kind of a fan of what I was showing him, because like I like to do the stealthiness and try and get behind.
Well, I do dig stealthiness, like Metal Gear-esque, I guess.
But it certainly slows down the action a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's some really nice variety of enemies. They did a fantastic job. All the items in the game, all your weapons.
They're all fully rendered.
Yeah, they're all fully rendered. So when you pull them up and you look at your items, you can fully examine it, rotate in 3D. You can zoom in on it, which is an extremely daunting task, especially considering the amount of shit that's in the game.
Skyrim, yeah. We had like Skyrim pop up a billion times up on our screen here.
But
well, yeah. I will at some point try it out, sir.
Yeah,
I'd give it a fair run.
Certainly.
Maybe cast it like I did Dark Souls. What?
Video. Red
Video. Something. There are cats doing something in the other. Well, now that he said it. Yes, there's dragons in here, folks. Don't worry. Nothing to worry about. We'll just show footage of Metal Gear because I think that's awesome. Did you take care of that, sir?
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully for now. We'll see.
It was the dragons.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Skyrim's so realistic that the dragons come out of the TV.
It's true.
It's amazing.
I mean, shit burns. Stuff gets on
Yeah,
fire.
that was my favorite part. Like, he was trying to sell this, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it was so funny, because, like, he was trying to sell me on this game, and he was like, alright, dude, like, there's a part, like, you can take this book, and you can pick it up. You can take a book, and you can put it, and then you can take this.
I was getting to
barrel
the point. I was getting to the point about the whole barrel thing that's
Yeah.
kind of becoming almost an internet meme. Where
Right.
you're just picking up the barrels and putting it over people's heads. Like, it's just a goofy little thing. It's just cool that you can
But it was
pick
just
up and
funny, like, when
interact with things.
you're trying to sell me on this, you're like, but if this didn't get you sold on this yet, pickable upable books. Yes, that's right. You can pick them books up and put them other places. You don't like where it's at now? Put it back where it was.
That's true. Yep.
And I was like, oh, I'm buying
But
it now.
it's a gorgeous looking game. It's definitely it looks fantastic. So I'm a big fan of it.
Can you eat said book?
No.
Well, then it's meaningless.
I don't know.
I mean, picking up a book is nothing if you can't put it in your mouth.
That's okay.
That's my life.
Is that your
that is
motto?
my life motto.
That's not
if
worth
I can't
having
put it in my mouth,
Yeah.
it's not worth having.
Okay. So I think that's what I've been up to
Words
this
to
week,
live by,
so.
children. Okay.
Yeah,
Moving on, folks.
Please.
Well, let's talk about our first topic here of this week, which is the 3DS and the new possible $50 price point. Tell the audience a little bit about this whole deal.
Well, right now it's kind of coming up. Specifically, it's a Capcom title. It's the next Resident Evil. It's going to be, rather than the standard $40, which is kind of the given retail price for Nintendo 3DS titles that most publishers have kind of just done. $39.99.
Right.
Now, Capcom, the next Resident Evil game, is looking at $50. And there's a reason behind this for them, is that it's a larger memory card that they're using this in.
It's 2 gig.
I think it's a 4 gig.
Oh, it's a 4 gig.
I thought it was a 4 gig. Was my reading. So I mean, it's cost more, I'm sure, for them to put it out there, which makes sense for the $50. But it's like that just you're now $10 away from a full retail price of a 360 or PS3 title.
Right.
You're at the price of a Wii title.
Right, and last generation's titles.
Yeah. It's just like that is way too high for handheld.
I'm with you, man.
It's just way too high.
I think
and it's like
much.
I don't want this to become a new trend. It's like, oh well, hey, if Capcom can get away with selling their game for $50, oh now Ubisoft, EA, Activision, let's all put our shit up for $50. People will buy it. No, don't. Please don't. I don't think that's gonna happen, but
yeah, and then the whole 4 gig thing. 4 gigs of memory doesn't cost that much these days. I mean, you can go out and buy a little 4 gig memory card for $11 yourself.
Yeah.
So I imagine the people creating these games putting 4 gigs, it cost them pennies on the dollar to put them in there. So I'm just afraid we're getting those $50. That's way, unless your portable game can, one, be played in a home system, and two, it really does have the feel of a home console game. There's no way I'm paying $50 for that.
yeah, it's very high.
I mean, and so yeah, the thought is that if Capcom does this, where they start charging $50, then other publishers, other developers will follow and start with the $50 price point.
Yeah.
Now, will Capcom? They've only done this for Resident Evil. They've only announced it for Resident Evil.
Yep.
But the thought is that it's going to be.
I fear that probably with Capcom, this might be a thing for them. But I don't know. That's kind of it's such a shot in the dark statement that I don't want to come out being ignorant on that. It could happen, but it might not.
Well, it's one of those things. If it proves popular, I think if people buy it, there's no reason that they wouldn't keep doing it. They're like, has it affected sales? No. Have we made $10 more in each game?
It's like,
yes.
At the same time, if it's going to be $50, there needs to be, the content needs to feel like it's a drastic amount more of content.
An actual home. It needs to feel like a home game. I mean, I said before, if it does not feel like I'm playing a home console experience, it's fully fledged, which is completely different from what I felt we got in Resident Evil Mercenaries. I
still like that game.
I still like it, but Mercenaries was very much a part of the full game in Resident Evil 5. Now, they had some extras in it, but it definitely was part of a full game.
And that's
so if Revelation comes out and it's not quadruple what Mercenaries was, then
and with Mercenaries, that was a bit of a different situation in the fact that it's like that was so early on in the life of the 3DS, and not to say that the 3DS has a plethora of games out, because it certainly doesn't, but at the time it was like, you really only had a few games to pick from, and that was actually a really fun title.
Right.
It doesn't have a ton of content, but it's still really fun, so $40 I'll shell out. Now with Resident Evil Revelations coming out at $50, it's like, you're going to have Mario now to deal with, which the next Mario for the 3DS actually looks really, really fun.
It looks great,
It looks really fantastic, and that's going to be at $40, and it's like, $40 for a really fun Mario title, $50 for this Resident Evil that I hope it's got enough content in it. I'm probably going to go with the Mario.
Clan of the Grey Wolf made a great point. $50 today was worth $35.95. And I wrote an article about this, and we have talked about this before. With inflation, $50 today compared to $50 in the past is nowhere near what it used to be.
We can't bitch at $60 for brand new PS3.
So then I guess the question is, which I think Ruben brought up a great point, is $50 just a natural progression of where inflation and our economy is going? You know what I mean? Is that just Nintendo, Capcom, whoever saying, well, guys, $50, $40 ain't what it used to be. We got to put it up to $50 now to go with it. Well, because if you look at the price of a loaf of bread, there's no way you're going to pay what you paid for in 1985 for a loaf of bread that you are today. So should we expect the same from video games? Is that a little unfair?
That could be true if 360 and PS3 new release titles were at a higher price.
Right.
With them still sitting at $60 and you got a handheld title at $50, value's not there.
Do you think then? So what do you think? Do you think prices are great, or that home consoles aren't charging enough? What do you think? Do you think home console games should be more?
I think $60
before.
I think $60 right now is fine.
Right.
I don't see home console prices going up higher than $60 at a standard rate. The next generation of consoles, maybe. That would probably be. I think that would be the next logical progression of price points. Would be with a new system, a new platform, not 4 or 5 years into the generation.
Okay. Well, I mean, and like I said, I do think you brought up a good. I remember when buying an SNES game, $70. Yeah, I remember going to Sears, and they would have like Final Fight. And this was like the late '90s. They're like, yeah, it's still $60. It was in the case, and I'm like, no, the PlayStation's out, and they would always have their stuff really high. So, I guess I can kind of see both sides, though. I mean, I know $50 in our mind sounds like a lot, but the content's got to be there. So $50 is fine as long as the content's there.
Sure, but there's more to it than just the content. It's that side-by-side comparison. Like I said, if you're going to look at the wall and you're going to see 3DS titles here at $50, brand new Skyrim at $60.
Right.
Man, that's where you're going to go.
And the other thing I do think, even though I agree with Rue on this, the 3DS is at a point, as far as sales, I don't think they can afford to go up to $50. As far as their popularity, they aren't the DS, they're not the Game Boy that they used to be, where they can just charge whatever they want and then go, okay, people will pay it. What they need to do is keep the price where it's at, keep the lower price of the 3DS, and try to get more people onto this. Because right now, they don't have the support they need to be able to pull off this $50 thing.
But at the same time, we're definitely jumping the gun on this conversation. Right now, it is solely one title by one publisher, and potentially only one time. But so we'll see what happens,
yeah.
and hope that it works out for the consumer.
Of course, exactly. And of course, if you have an opinion on this or any of the topics we've been talking tonight,
feel free
you can
to
call us up here on the Boomzies phone, 316-778-0730, or Skype at Boomzies. Give us a holler, and we'll chat with you. We may not agree with you. Well, I mean, you'll probably agree with me because I'm brilliant, but
we got an interesting statement here that I haven't read this yet, but Samurai Sam is saying that I saw a news article today where Nintendo said the 3DS is on pace to sell more in its first year than the DS did in its first year.
You're safe to come back, Chitia. Yes, you are. No Skyrim talk, 3DS talk.
So that's interesting. If that's true.
I don't know, but you know Nintendo and the PR machine they are. I don't think there's any way that they're on pace to do that. I mean, I know the price drops hit and the holidays are coming up. Maybe with Super Mario Land they're going to be selling some more 3DSs, but I don't think they're anywhere close to the original DS. Maybe it's the whole unit shipped.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, is this unit sold?
Right,
is this cash? Is this money?
I think there's a little skewing on the figures here, because personally, I don't feel the 3DS is sold anywhere near
there's
the
a
DS.
couple things that's going to be coming up during the holiday season. There's going to do 2 bundles. You're going to have the Mario 3DS bundle, which will be a red 3DS with it. And then there's Europe gets the special branded Zelda 3DS,
which we may get.
I'm confused on this. Here's the thing that I'm confused. Maybe somebody else can give me a definitive answer, because I haven't been able to find one. When they first showed off the Legend of Zelda branded 3DS, which is, it's black, it's got the cool gold trim around it, the Zelda look to it. Really elegant. It looks really nice. I would love to have one. My understanding is it's PAL only. It's Europe only. And then looking through Black Friday ads, GameStop's Black Friday ad got leaked yesterday or the day before. In GameStop's Black Friday ad for North America is the Zelda 3DS bundle with the fancy. It's not, because Best Buy also has a Zelda 3DS bundle, but it's just the black 3DS with Zelda packaged with it. The GameStop one in the picture shows the special edition, branded special edition one. So if that's true, I don't want to do it, but I will buy another 3DS,
and I'll buy yours for dirty. I'll buy it at a high price. Oh, good point, JK. And this is something I completely agree with. They still need a strong third-party game, which they still don't have yet. I completely agree with you there. Nintendo does not have a juggernaut of third-party titles. Like, compared to the Super Nintendo, or even the original Game Boy, those were systems that I would say third-party, hands down. Capcom, Konami, Square, they had it in spades. DS, 3DS, Wii to an extent, does not have that third-party support. And without that, Capcom alone cannot keep the 3DS afloat. They're going to need to have other developers and publishers
Well,
on
the
boat.
3DS also, like, for God's sakes, make the fucking thing region-free.
Yeah, that's another thing we'll get into about this import thing. They're locked down on the region thing, which the
So
PSP
stupid.
did so great, and even the original DS did great. No worry about region, so I still don't know why that's an issue, but hey, whatever. Well, then let's move on to our main topic of the evening, which does have to do about Nintendo.
Sticking with Nintendo.
Sticking with Nintendo.
Hopefully, nobody's here like a huge Nintendo fanboy and we're pissing you off. We love Nintendo. We're just kind of confused.
We do. But our main topic of the night, Nintendo's import trouble. Talk about all the fuss with Last Story, Xenoblade, and Pandora's Tower, Operation Rainfall. Do you want to kind of give the audience, if you aren't familiar with what Operation Rainfall is?
Essentially, it's these games have been released in Japan. People outside of Japan really want these titles. These are, I believe, are they all sequels to games that have been?
Xenoblade is a sequel.
Yes, that one is.
Pandora's Tower. It was either Pandora's Tower or Last Story that wasn't a sequel.
Okay.
Now I'm not positive which one that is.
I know a couple of these. They're sequels. People had played the originals. We've had the previous versions of it, and we just want to continue to play. And Nintendo won't release them stateside for reasons that we'll get into.
Yeah.
We understand both sides of this thing, but essentially, there's been a large online petition where there's thousands upon thousands of people have signed this and have been backing this thing, wanting to get Nintendo to release it outside of Japan, but they just won't. They won't. So that's Operation Rainfall. I don't know what is the name mean anything. What is it? What do they have on their website?
I don't know what the name means specifically. I just know that's the name they've given themselves. But right, as Lana was saying, there's a big push for this. I would say Operation Rainfall, as the days and months go by, they are getting, I'd say, stronger and more vehement about their want for these games to come out. Okay, Operation Rainfall, Mega Man Legends 3. Okay, right, because that originally did start with Mega Man Legends 3, and then it didn't all happen. So, and there are some people talking about Last Story and Pandora's Tower or our plan for European releases. Really what's going on with this, it's kind of turned into an Operation Rainfall versus Nintendo.
Yeah.
And the whole thing of how really all this started was Nintendo sent, Operation Rainfall sent a letter to Nintendo of America. Mm-hmm. And they were saying, hey, we really like your games. We'd want them to come out here, blah, 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 blah. And so after they sent that, Nintendo sent them a response, which this is very, Nintendo PR-ish here. Thank you for your enthusiasm. We promised an update, so here it is. We never say, quote, never, but we can confirm that there are no plans to bring these 3 games to the Americas at this time. Thanks so much for your passion and for being such great fans. So that was the response Nintendo gave to Operation Rainfall. I saw the response from Operation Rainfall. I can't read the whole thing. It's super long, and in all honesty, the general consensus I got, they were ticked.
Yeah.
They almost felt like Nintendo was brushing them off, like, you say you love the hardcore fans, you say you love your contingencies for the, old Nintendo, but you really don't. And I felt it was, I don't know, I thought it was a little too much personally.
Yeah.
I know they really want these games, but it was a little much. And I want to show you one of the responses from one of the members at Operation Rainfall. It's not one of the heads, it's just one of the people who believes in it. This was his response, because after all this was done, Reggie with Nintendo made some responses on Twitter. He had he had talked about, hey, there's going to be some games that everybody's waiting for, and that's going to be Zelda. And the Operation Rainfall people were like, oh, because they thought they were going to talk about the 3 games, and instead it was Zelda. I'm like, oh, that's what you're coming up with, great. So here's one of the responses from a Twitter. At Nintendo America, Reginator, dude, what a coward. Not a single word on Xenoblade. Last Story or Pandora is really disappointed on a Nintendo. And that was his actual on, not at, on Nintendo. He's disappointed on Nintendo, which is worse than at. What's your thought about this? So, because pretty much what this comes down to is, like I said, it's an Operation Rainfall versus Nintendo.
Look, I get it. I understand they want it released here. I understand that. Like, the thing is like it might not happen, and it's probably not going to happen. And I understand why Nintendo doesn't want to. I fully understand. They just flip the coin here. It's not just people in America bitching and saying like, "Oh, I really want this," or we're whining spoiled children. That's not really the case. I mean, but at the same time, I understand Nintendo. The thing is, it's like these games, they're probably not going to sell extremely well here. They might be a surprise hit, but it's probably not going to be.
Well, yeah,
they're not going to make money. Nintendo is honestly kind of hemorrhaging money right now. They're not profiting greatly, and so for them to want to take a bit of a risk here, and this is honestly a risk for them to release these titles in America. That's a risk. They're not guaranteed to make tons of money. It's not like he's going to point out here in a minute. It's not Dragon Quest.
Right.
These are much smaller titles. So
and Nintendo would have to publish these. That's the point too. We're not just talking about Nintendo allowing these to be put on home consoles. That's not Nintendo's not barring these from coming out. The companies that originally created these aren't putting these out in the States. Yeah. That's what we want to be first to have understood.
Now here I wonder, like, is this a situation where can they just give these to say Xseed Games and have them publish them and bring them out? Is that
I don't know what the legalities of all that is. I don't.
I know Xseed does a lot of that, bringing over these titles, and Xseed seems to take a little bit of a risk with some of their titles that they decide to bring to us. Would you agree to that at all?
Yeah, I'd agree to that. Well, then some people are saying, like Chatia, want to do a small release, be good PR, Duff Mana. It's also a risk to have a good number of people go into homebrew and play these games. You could sell them for a higher price. Well, for example, Warner Home Video does a thing where they will actually, on some of their really niche titles, Eric did this on a few of them, they will actually only print the disc and the copy of it when you order it.
Yeah.
And every DVD is like $35-$40. I mean, they're expensive, but they will actually, print to order. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a way to do it, but Nintendo, I don't think is they're not into the little dollar. They're I mean, in the end, they're a company that's here to make money. As sad as that is to say, they're here to make money.
Yeah. Now, okay, so these are slated for European release, right?
That's what some people are saying, right?
So they have been translated to English.
Yes.
So it's merely just a package and ship issue.
Right. Okay, Ancient Monato, says Nintendo owns the publishing rights. Xenoblade is first party title, second party technically. Well, and one of the examples I wanted to give to people, as far as sides go, I would love to see these come out, but I understand exactly where Nintendo is coming from on this thing. And let me do a little...
I get where the fans are coming from, too. It's a really...
it's
a tough thing.
It's polarizing, but here's the thing. Nintendo has already done this before, and people might not realize this. When Dragon Quest, huge popular series in Japan, Square had no interest in publishing these. Nintendo said, we'll publish these. We'll put these out. Okay? We'll take the risk and publish it. They said fine. It was a level 5 developed game. Square Enix gave their blessings, and they put them out in Japan, and they sold bonkers. Everybody bought them. They sold 2.34 million copies in the first day in Japan. Of course, Dragon Quest is huge, and it did really well. In contrast, Nintendo took a treasure game, Sin and Punishment, was on the 64, and they wanted to test the water, so they put the original Sin and Punishment on the 64 Virtual Console. It did really well. It sold well, and so they approached Treasure. Treasure is not into making sequels. They don't like making sequels to the games. They like making original. And Nintendo asked them, can you make a sequel to Sin and Punishment 2? And they did. Amazing game.
It's really fun.
Really fun game. And this graph will explain just a little bit of Nintendo's position here. So here's one-day sales in Japan. Okay? If we compared it to the Sun and the Moon, the sales of Sin and Punishment 2 on the first day is the Moon, and the sales of Dragon Quest IX the first day is the Sun. 417 times more. Sin and Punishment sold 5,600 copies. Dragon Quest sold 2.34 million. Okay?
Now granted, this is an extreme...
Well, this is an extreme example, but it does show that Nintendo lost out on Sin and Punishment, and in America even. If that shows you where it sold in Japan, it sold even less in America. Yeah. And they had a huge advertising campaign. I saw standees and stuff for them everywhere.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. Like, we had... I'm sure Ultimate Electronics is gone now, right, as a company. When Ultimate Electronics was going out of business here in Wichita, I was in there all the time just buying the games, and as games were going further and further on sale to where games were almost like 80% off, still, there was
gobs
of Sin and Punishment 2.
No one knew what it was. Yeah. I remember some guy picking up like,
you can walk in there and buy it for
Sin and Punishment 2?
$5 for Sin and Punishment 2. A fantastic game. Still just sitting there.
Because nobody knew what it was. And that's the other thing, too. and I was talking with a friend of mine about that, Sean, actually, a good friend of mine. I was talking to him about the differences, and for me, the Xenoblade, the Xenosaga, Xeno series is well known to me. But to gamers in general, and especially two big releases like Modern Warfare 3 and Skyrim, Last Story, Xenoblade, and Pandora's Tower are not even in the general gaming population's vocabulary. Now, to people like you and I, we know all about it, but most people don't. So, as much as in our minds we might think, oh, Xenoblade, everybody knows about it. They really don't.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a big risk. But here's the other question. It's like, I wonder, is this a situation where with digital streaming and digital versions becoming more and more popular, granted it's the Wii, so
well, yeah, you
I
really
can't say
couldn't do
that
yeah.
much, but like potentially the Wii U when it releases, maybe if it's a more powerful console, can you maybe put it on digital version for us? I mean, you save the money on all the packaging and the shipping and all that jazz. Just put it up there digitally, and that would be pretty rad.
Well, the other option is, I mean, if it does get a European release, as much as I know this pains me to say, if you want the game, like when I wanted to import PS2 games, the Cave Shmups, Dodonpachi, Mushime Sama, Escaluda, Ibra, I had to buy an import PlayStation 2 and buy them. In the end, Cave is not going to take the risk to put out those games. Later on, of course, they put Death Smiles, and we saw how bad that did.
Right.
Because here's the thing, it's like the music industry. I would love for every great artist like George and Jonathan to have some amazing record deal with MCA or Sony Records. But the record companies are here to make money, and the artists are here to make great creative works. And the same goes for Nintendo. Nintendo's here to publish, whereas the developers and the creators are here to make a fun experience. So,
well, we've got a statement here from Samurai Sam saying the games might not be well known, but it's not like there are big Wii titles being released this next year that will overshadow them. Here's the other issue though: is nothing on the Wii is selling really well right now. They are really, honestly, losing money for the first on a large scale.
Well, and that's why they're hemorrhaging so much money. So even if it's not a risk, let's just say,
it is a risk.
Well, let's just say in a perfect world that it wasn't a risk, and somehow they knew they were going to make money, or there was a good chance, there's a 90% chance they're going to make money. As they're hemorrhaging money now, they're not going to take any risk. What they want is guaranteed hits. So this Super Mario 3D Land, guaranteed hit.
Yeah.
Make money.
Yeah.
And that's what they're here to do. So as much as I would like to have the perfect world where we have all the great games come out, I think Sin and Punishment 2 was the straw that broke the camel's back for Nintendo, and they got burned. And they're not going to publish them anymore. So
until they're back to the point where they have enough money to take the risk. And hopefully that'll happen with the Wii U. They'll be back in a profiting situation. I question it. I don't know if it will.
So that's why I know that the people at Operation Rainfall. Here's what I would say: this whole Operation Rainfall. Chitiya said, then don't make it region specific so we can order from Europe. Perfect example. Example of the new Cave game that came out, Dodonpachi Resurrection. It came out by Rising Star Games in Europe, in the UK, and it's region free. So I was able to import it over. That would be a perfect way to do that. And really, I think the way to fix this all is to take off regions.
Yeah.
The region lock and region free, take that away altogether.
What is the point? Like, what was the...
Well, the point of that is to keep sales within the region.
Right.
Which I understand, but if it's a game like that, that's not going to be...
That's not such a big issue that I feel like...
Right. Well, we're in a world economy, especially with the internet. We are in a world economy, so... I don't think we have to be so segregated to go, oh no, it can only be American or only European or only... But also that, like, I think the main deal is, like, people in Australia, they could order games for cheaper online and have them shipped here instead of having to pay the high price that they have to pay for them being shipped over. So, again, it has to deal with profits and the economics of it all, which...
I mean, look, if you're competitor...
of random. Give me Super Robot Taisen OG Saga Endless Frontier Exceed, and I'm happy. That first game was amazing. You are my favorite person of the night because if Xseed would put that out, I've been waiting to play that. Oh, well, random. You are a well of awesomeness, a well of hotness.
Yeah. But here's what I would say about Nintendo. It's like, look at your competitors and the fact that Sony, with their handheld, all that, region free, why not?
Exactly.
And if your competitor is doing it, then you need to jump onto the ball.
See, and that's where we're going back to. I know these are third-party games, but yeah, quality third-party support from big names, big games. That's why Modern Warfare, Skyrim, huge names on the PS3 and the 360, not on the Wii.
Yeah.
That's where the Wii's missing out this generation because they don't have a system powered up to handle it.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with, I'm just a graphics whore. I've got to have the best graphics. You just can't handle the games.
Yeah.
So you're missing out on these profits.
You're in a completely different genre.
And I guarantee you there would have been people who would have bought the Wii version if it would have been better graphics just for the Wii motion controls.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been? I mean, I'm not saying it would have been cool or not, but what if you could play Skyrim in some way, holding your hands out and doing spells? There'd be people who love that.
Yeah.
Can't do it on the Wii because it can't handle it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Super Robot. We got more Super Robot, and now with the PSP Go coming out, we've kind of been talking with 3DS and Wii U and all that. That's I think where they need to do better as the Wii U, which I don't know if they're going to because I haven't seen that third party support.
Yeah, and they're already running into a situation where they're going to be earlier in the game than everybody else, which means everybody else is going to have those extra years to develop.
Yeah.
So Nintendo's going to have to stick with some sort of a gimmick to keep people along because no matter what, even if they release their console next year and it's got better graphics than the PS3 right now, it's got a better processor, it can handle things stronger than a PS3 or 360 can.
Right.
It doesn't matter because the next PS3 or the next Sony product, the next Microsoft product is going to be another year, another 2 years after that, and they're going to just be more and more powerful. And it's just like Nintendo will always be having to catch up.
And Don Carr, he said it'll ultimately be up to the third party as well, whether the third party wants to get involved. And I think what Nintendo needs to do, they need to court them a little better, have systems, graphics, controllers that entice the third-party developers to come over.
And less
I think in the
shovelware.
End, yeah, exactly. In the end, it is Nintendo's responsibilities because they're the one having to court the third-party developers to come over. If they don't...
Bring back the seal of approval and have it mean something.
Yeah, that would be nice. Because all this shovelware has detracted from the third-party support.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder we're not getting these games. And something I would say to the people over Operation Rainfall, don't be jerks about it.
Yeah.
Like some of these things I've been seeing, now I understand you guys are very vehement about what you want, and I completely support you guys. Putting it out there, sending letters, trying to get these games out, but from what I've seen, I don't know whether it's a big or a small faction of them, there's been some really
There's always
mean,
extremist people.
hateful,
anyways,
it just seems like this really mean way of just putting it back to Nintendo, and that in no way is going to get Nintendo interested in doing this. Even if they're not, you're not putting forth a good face. Represent yourself. I know you're having to deal with Nintendo because Nintendo's PR thing is a little. They're very PR. They very limit what they say and they say things in such a way, but that's not the right way to approach it. I think. Mm-hmm. So, oh well. Call agree with. The problem is that there's a law of diminishing returns when it comes to graphic wars. The Wii U will be full HD, and that's good enough for a lot of people over the next few years. And I agree with you. I do agree that we're getting to a fidelity ceiling. We're reaching that barrier. But I think the next two systems by Sony and Microsoft are going to hit that barrier. It's almost kind of like you were mentioning, too. A lot of the 3D films, like The Incredibles or Shrek, actually, when it was developed, had to be scaled back in the textures and the graphics because it looked too good.
Yeah.
So they're trying to just hit a certain fidelity.
The thing is with this is that it's like I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like as long as you can have a system that where these publishers are going to release these large titles, the Call of Duties, a true Call of Duty,
right,
a Skyrim, to be able to have those experiences on your console.
See those guys.
Oh, they're out of here.
They're out of here.
Guys.
See you, sir.
Thanks for showing up. But not in a situation where it's like, okay, you get Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the PS3 and 360, the full version, and then for the Wii, you get this watered down, different version of it. Like, you need to be able to have the same experience. You need to be able to have that same game. Not necessarily the same experience because it's going to be, the Wii will have the motion controls or whatever that's going to be.
Right.
But you need to be able to have that full game.
Right. They just need to be able to compete. I'm not saying they have to have the best graphics. They just need to be able to compete on a level playing field.
You need to be able to actually make a fucking game for your console.
Well, what they need to do is they need to have a system, even if it's not as graphically enhanced, that makes it easier for third-party companies. Let's just say the Wii U comes out and then the next Microsoft and Sony system comes out. A way for third-party developers to downgrade, whether it's the fidelity, the graphics, textures, whatever, in an easy way for them to be put on their system.
Right.
If they can do that, I really could care less if it, looks, I can see 2 million hairs instead of 4 billion hairs. That little difference isn't going to matter.
If we were all that way, we'd all have high-powered PCs.
he said the F word. I'm hooked.
Yeah. I cuss a lot. I'm sorry. Because I'm not sorry.
Don't worry. How much does it affect Nintendo that Sony and Microsoft seem to be gearing themselves a lot more towards entertainment consoles as opposed to gaming consoles? See, and a lot of people are saying too about Nintendo, they should focus on the handhelds and go the route of Sega even. Some of those extremely saying
yeah, I mean, that's
do
been
that.
tossed around. It's like, I'm sure they would succeed like crazy, but it's like, for them, I think there's going to need to be some more steps before they will ever get to that point. They're going to need to lose a lot more money.
Yeah.
So I don't see that happening at least within the next couple of years. It's probably going to teeter on the fact of how well this Wii U works. And it's like, you were able to really sell these people on the... We're getting into a whole different topic now.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
You were able to sell people on this Wii U with this casual gaming experience, and a large portion of your market were these casual gamers, these moms, and these even grandparents that were going out and just buying these things because it was fairly cheap, and you got them hooked on this exercise and stuff. But are you going to be able to upsell them to this other unit where you're still using the standard Wii mode? It's already
That's the same thing with 3DS.
It's already
it was confusing.
thing.
The terminology was confusing, and I saw parents they're like, "Wait, didn't you already get one of these?"
Yeah.
Well, it's got 3D, and they're like, to the naked eye, they're like, okay, like.
Well, the
I
three.
see.
I mean, they're handheld. They were going up a weird market. The DS, the DS Lite, the DSi, the DSi XL, the three. You know, it's like you can't sell this to us that many times, man. Especially for the general public, the moms and the pops that are coming in there and buying stuff either for themselves or for their children. They're not going to understand that, and they're frankly probably not going to purchase it. You know.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the end story. Is I would side with Nintendo on this whole issue, and until they get out of this hole they've dug them in, maybe later on down the line, maybe the Wii U comes out with some downloadable format of these old games. They do like an import thing. Well, like they've done for some of their virtual console stuff. Yeah. You can download 64 imports.
Yeah.
So maybe the next console generation they can do that.
I mean, PlayStation 3 is now at the point where you're getting PS2 games.
Exactly.
360, you're getting old regular Xbox
exactly.
games.
So maybe the Wii U will jump onto that, and hey, then we can play these games. But
get rid of friend codes.
Friend codes suck. Yes, they do.
Just stare at the camera.
Cardum, this is our featured music of the week, if you're wondering, and for those who just joined us. This is our featured music of the week. This is George and Jonathan, the album The Best Music and Beautiful Lifestyle. These are independent music. Beautiful Lifestyle is their newest album that just came out. $5, and The Best Music is downloadable for whatever you want to pay for it, but I would suggest $5 as well. Great, amazing music suggested to us by Cold Guy. Once again, I have to thank him for that suggestion. But
and for Coke 20, yes, thanks Delta ZX. Hey.
The Last Guardian.
Yeah, we got Last
that's
Guardian.
The Last Guardian on the back.
That's what's back there.
Yeah, another
Team Eco.
Team Eco or Ico?
Ico, Eco. I go back and forth.
Whatever. Well, I think the end. If you really want to play these games, go get the European releases and get a European Wii.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that hardcore, I hear the only really good one from a friend is Xenoblade. I hear that's
Xenoblade looks
awesome.
really nice, yeah.
Last Story
looks
cool.
really cool.
It does, but he said it was really stale.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't that great. It's compared to Xenoblade, so
well,
we'll have to see. So if you're hardcore, European Wii, European games. Sorry. That's how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. Well, let's
as far as right now.
Exactly. Well, shall we talk about next week's topic?
Yeah, we're gonna be. You want me to introduce this?
Introduce us.
Okay.
Yes.
Big MMO coming out. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it or not. Star Wars, The Old Republic. I don't know. Kind of a small release.
Hey, Ancient. Thanks for joining us, man. We thank you for joining into this. We hope we haven't offended you. We were just voicing our opinions. Yeah, link it in there and see what they say.
Who is this?
Ancient. He's one of the mods.
Oh, okay.
Lead admins on Operation Rainfall. So
okay.
Appreciate you for joining in on this conversation. So, but anyway, you were saying.
Cool. Big RPG coming out. BioWare. Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah.
How's it gonna fare? Is it gonna succeed within the market of MMOs? How is it gonna compete with WoW? How is WoW gonna compete with it? What's really gonna happen?
Because I've been hearing a lot of talk where some people are like, oh yeah, Old Republic's just gonna destroy WoW, and other people are like, no way, WoW was the juggernaut and it will not die.
Here's my opinion in a nutshell. We'll go far into it.
Right.
If anybody can do this, it is BioWare. If any publisher, if anybody can do this, it's going to be them.
Yeah, that's it's coming out into this year, in December. I'm not sure if it's coming out on Christmas, but it's coming out into this year. The new Star Wars MMO, yes. And Landon and I are relative MMO noobs, I would say.
I played WoW for quite a bit.
You played okay.
I played Final Fantasy 11 quite a lot. I loved 11. So I mean, I'm not. I don't play an MMO currently. I'll put it that way.
You don't play it currently.
I love DC Universe. That was really fun.
But now you
I'm not a connoisseur of MMOs, but I've experienced them.
Okay.
I can contribute to this
You contribute.
conversation. That's what I'm trying to put out here.
I am less of a fan, but I think this is a little different conversation because we've been talking kind of more big picture topics, but this is kind of a real deal. What's going to happen is this going to be an EverQuest like it was when World of Warcraft came out, and we're seeing a switching and changing of the guards, which I would just like to hear your guys' opinion on this and see what you think, because I think it'll be an interesting conversation. And don't look at Landon restarting this video because that didn't happen at all.
Nope.
You didn't see that. That didn't happen. But anyway, next week that's going on,
yep.
And we will be here the 19th, and we're hoping to be here Thanksgiving.
Yep.
That's the thought.
We're planning on this. Anything comes up, we'll be here Thanksgiving. Do a special. Well, not obviously the Thursday of Thanksgiving. I mean, we'll still be on Saturdays,
right.
but that Thanksgiving weekend.
That Thanksgiving weekend. So
we'll just sit here and just eat turkey right in front of you guys.
We will.
No video games. Just
sweet. I love that,
and
man.
Pass out.
And then pass out on the couch,
yeah.
laying next to each other.
Pandas.
Pandas and pandas, exactly.
But as always, guys, there's more to us than just Boomzies.
That's right.
We have our own website, substance-tv.com. Check it out. We've got all the latest news. We update it with information. Everything that we talk about here, video games, music, entertainment, movies, comics, run the whole gamut. Lots of fun stuff.
Yeah, and we talk about it all in there. And I actually covered these artists. Did a little in-depth review of Dark Souls, my opinions on it. Whole bunch of stuff, but go check that out. And of course, you can watch all of our archived Boomzies episodes on the website. All there available for you. Ready for your viewing pleasures.
We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. Go check us out. Substance TV on Facebook. Yep.
It's easy, man. It's so easy to fall in love.
Like us there. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to us even here.
Yes. And if this is your first time here, please give us a follow. We do appreciate it. We're doing this every Saturday at 10 p.m. And then check us out on our YouTube and Blip.
And like I said, we take phone calls and Skype. We didn't get any phone calls or Skype.
I was surprised.
So,
I was very surprised.
But we do that, so just give us a call.
We do.
We do.
We do.
We do what Nintendo don't, because we talk to... I don't know where that was
going.
You work
on that.
Yeah.
You work on that for next week?
Yep.
Are we going to have a song?
Yeah. Let's do
some lyrics
and
in the song.
Acapella. Yep. I'll have a spoon. Spoon it up.
Really? Spoon it up?
Yeah.
Is that what the boys say?
I don't know. No. Quit.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys next week for another enthralling, engaging...
We turn 21.
21 next week. Who knows? There may be some beer here.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see.
We got a little crazy last time.
We did. A little stupid.
We had our car taken away. So anyway, thank you guys. We'll talk to you all next week for another Boomzies.
Thanks, everybody.